Hi, it's Nicole again, Nicole Norton. Today is Thursday. It's 7 days from my RNY, also called a gastric bypass. I was scheduled to be there at 5:30 in the morning. My surgery was at about 7:45. I've already kind of talked about this on a previous video, but today I wanted to talk about how it's going. If you were anything like me, I think the only real fear I had as I was, driving up to, or, being driven up to the hospital was, how am I going to feel after this surgery? Am I going to hurt? If so, how much? I've seen so many posts on the different Facebook groups that I'm a part of, that people talk about horrific pain and all of that. And so, maybe it wasn't a concern, it was the question, how am I going to feel when it's all said and done? So I came home Friday afternoon, and just leaving the hospital was pretty exhausting. I'm not really a nap person, but I took a nice nap on the couch, which I was grateful I was able to lay down on the couch and find a comfortable way to sleep that wasn't on my back the whole time. And I took a nap and just really took it easy. And then because I wasn't on pain pills, I thought it would be a really good idea to drive myself somewhere on Saturday and on Sunday. Now, to add to this, I have a pulse ox machine. I had said in my introductory, or in my first video, that I had COVID last year, and I don't know if I said this in the video or not, but I was placed on oxygen, and I was on oxygen for about a month. I wore it 24/7. So I have a pulse ox machine, and I had been feeling a little odd on Saturday after I left the house, and so I checked my pulse ox, and my oxygen levels were low. They were below 90. Typically, the doctors want your pulse ox to be 90 or above, and they weren't. Fortunately, I have a home house system for oxygen because I do currently use it at night with my CPAP machine. And so when I was at home, I wore my oxygen, didn't really think anything of it. So then Sunday I was out, and I wasn't even out for maybe half an hour, and I thought, oh, I am really not feeling good. I'm gonna head back home. So I head back home, put the oxygen back on, and kind of just hunkered down. At no point did I call the doctor's office. I figured, no harm, no foul. I've got oxygen here. I should be fine. Don't do as I'm doing. So I knew the surgeon's office was going to call me Monday morning. They did. I shared with them what was going on, and the surgeon told them to instruct me to have somebody take me to urgent care immediately. I could not drive myself. When I got to urgent care, I could not walk in the doors. They were going to have to go get me a wheelchair and get me and bring me into the building. And then as soon as I checked in, while I was waiting in the waiting room, they wanted me to be put on oxygen. Because see, at this point, I didn't have any travel oxygen tanks with me, because again, I was only using them at night. So I complied all the way. I had a friend come pick me up. She got a wheelchair. She brought me in. They gave me oxygen, and he wanted them to run blood work, do an EKG, and run a CAT scan. They also wanted to check my blood pressure because I was on blood pressure medication before I left, and the dosage that I was on was like a 20 milligrams of the medication, and then there was also a diuretic, and they wanted to reduce my number in the medication, and then they got rid of the diuretic. And so I'd also been running my blood pressure. I was supposed to do it 3 times a day. I didn't. Don't tell them. But every time I ran it, my numbers were really high. So they also wanted me to have them check my blood pressure. So, 5 hours later, yes, it did take me 5 hours. They said that I had, that my lungs looked like I had pneumonia, although I didn't have any of the other symptoms that you would normally have with pneumonia. I wasn't feverish. I didn't have the chills. I wasn't, I felt fine. I just, my blood pressure or my oxygen levels were low. So they sent me home with a portable oxygen tank, called into Apria Healthcare, who my insurance company uses, and, had them hook me up with some tanks and sent me on my way. So, but I'm not wearing the oxygen right now because, honest to goodness, I didn't want the very first thing that you saw was me wearing my oxygen. That just seemed, it could be a little unnerving. So I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to go get that. So 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So I've been on oxygen around the house since Monday, late, evening. And, that's really helped me a little bit. My blood pressure is still pretty high, so I'm going to go see my primary care physician tomorrow to see if they can adjust my medications. So, that's the worst of what I've experienced. Here are the other things that, most people don't talk about. Or I think maybe they talk about it now, is, constipation is a really big deal with, and with gastric bypass, but probably with the sleeve as well. I'm not sure. And so my doctor suggested I start Miralax, a capful a day, a capful twice a day until I had my first BM, which I was lucky enough to have on Monday. So now I'm just doing it once a day. So, fun times for that. And then, when I was in the hospital on Thursday, I had maybe a little bit of Jello and a little bit of broth, and water. You're supposed to sip water, periodically. But when I got home, and I was home on Friday and Saturday on my plan, and remember, every plan is different. I had to be on clear protein, a clear liquid diet, and there was a protein goal that you were aiming for, and then of course the water goal. So I found this gem of a protein drink. It's Premier Protein Clear. And I gotta tell you, so the flavor that I have is peach, and it has 20 grams of protein, and it has 0 sugar, and it's 90 calories. And one of the really cool things about it is that it also counts towards my water goal. So, you're working your way up to 64 ounces of water a day, or at least under the plan that I'm on. And then, the goal is also at this stage to, be trying to shoot for, I want to say 30 to 45 grams of protein. So if you, drank 2 of these, you would be knocking out, let's see, it has 16.9 fluid ounces. So, you'd be knocking out almost 34 of the hydration requirements, as well as 40 grams of protein. So anytime in these few days, any time that I have, had been struggling to get either my protein or my water or both in, I grab one of these. And I had originally only bought enough to cover me for maybe a week or two, but I did decide to buy more. Got them from Amazon. The flavor I have is peach. I think there's also a tropical fruit flavor. I'm not really a big tropical fruit fan though, so I both times I've ordered the peach. And then so that's days, kind of technically 1 and 2, Friday and Saturday. So then for me, Sunday through next Friday, so I think that's like 12 or 13 days, I'm on a liquid diet. And so for the liquid diet, it's, protein shakes. They're looking for me to increase my protein a little bit. Still trying to keep accelerating on how much I'm able to do in water. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how I prepared for this, 12, 13 day period. I bought a little bit, let me rephrase that. I bought a lot of flavors, but a little bit of a lot of flavors, if that makes sense. So I'm going to show you the ones that I have tried. And I got to tell you, I'm really fortunate that I haven't minded any of these. Okay, so we have the Fairlife chocolate, and that is 30 grams. It says high quality protein, chocolate flavor, and I'm not really a chocolate fan, but I don't hate this. It's 11.5 fluid ounces. It's got 2 grams of sugar and 150 calories. So on my plan, the requirement for my smoothies is that they're under 200 calories. They have 5 grams or less of sugar, and they have 15 or more grams of protein. So, this meets that bill. The other one I have, or actually there's been a lot, so I'm going to show you a lot of them. Another one I got was this Slim Fast Advanced Nutrition. That has 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and that also has fiber in it, which is kind of nice. The bottle has, let's see, well, it says 325 milliliters. I'm sure somewhere it says something else. So, what is this about? 11 ounces. It has 180 calories, and I already said the sugar. So, this, and it's a orange cream swirl. So I think what I might do is freeze a couple of these, like in small servings, like a orangesicle, because as a kid I loved orangecicles. So I'm thinking I might try that again. Okay, so then here's another brand that I've tried, and that's Ensure Max Protein. So there's a couple of different kinds of Ensure, but I'm grabbing the Ensure Max Protein. So both of them have 1 gram of sugar, 30 grams of protein. They are both 11 ounces, and they are 11 fluid ounces. And the flavors I got were creamy strawberry and creamy peach. So those have been quite delicious. Another one I have liked is this Premier Protein Vanilla. I told you I bought a lot of different flavors, a lot of different flavors. So, you're getting to see my truth. So Premier Protein, it's vanilla, 30 grams of protein, 160 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and that's 11.5 ounces. And as I think about it, I could probably freeze a little bit of all of these, so I have some treats later on. I will say, though, that all of these are sweet, and I have seen some people have terrible reactions to sweet stuff, that they just, after their surgery, they can't stand it, and I have not experienced that. I also have not experienced where that craving kicks in and I'm like a crazy person, trying to find candy hidden somewhere. It also hasn't triggered that. So I've been able to, have what I needed to have, whether it's, 2 ounces, 4 ounces, what have you, drink that amount and be okay. All right, so the last flavor of ready-made shakes I've had is another Premier Protein, and we have caramel and peanut butter chocolate. Wasn't sure I was gonna like that. Big fan. And then I got strawberries and cream. And each of these, I think they're all the same. They are 30 grams of protein, 160 calories, and 1 gram of sugar. And each of the bottles are 11 ounces. So that has been really great. What I found on, I think it was Tuesday, it was one day last week. Yeah, it was Tuesday. That all I had been having was something sweet, and I was missing something savory, right? Sweet, 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 sweet. What about something savory? And so I remember a friend of mine had a pretty major stomach surgery a few months ago, and she ordered or asked us to bring to the hospital some faux broth. So that's what I've been sipping on over here. And I don't drink it a lot, but it's a nice change of pace if all I've been having is, sweet, sweet, sweet and water, water, water. So I've been doing some faux broth. I also got some wonton soup, and I was going to toss the wontons out and drink the, just the broth of that. But I haven't done it yet, but I will. Okay, so the other couple of things I wanted to show you is during, from Sunday through next Friday, another thing I can also have is yogurt. So I found this Too Good vanilla yogurt that has 2 grams of sugar, 90 calories, and 13 grams of protein. Now the serving size is 3/4 of a cup. And at this point in surgery, and for a while after this surgery, my stomach wouldn't be able to hold 3/4 of a cup. So I started off with 2 tablespoons. First, I did a plain Greek yogurt. Not a big fan of plain yogurt. So my doctor did say that I could have this as well, as long as it was, lower in fat. I think they said 3 grams of sugar or less. And so I've been doing this one. And so I started off with 2 tablespoons to see how my stomach tolerated it, and I was fine. And then the next time I had it, I could do 3 tablespoons. And now I'm at 4 tablespoons, which is basically 1/4 of a cup. So that has been a good experience. And then the last thing that I've been drinking, and I just tried it today for the first time because, to be honest with you, I prepared so much, I forgot I had some of these. So this, I saw somebody else having this on another YouTube video, and it's an Isopure drink. And, and this is citrus lemonade. So it's Isopure protein infusions. And this has 20 grams of protein. Oh boy, I didn't realize how much sugar that has in it. So maybe I should hold off on having this. I did not realize that. I think it says 16. Let's explore that for a minute. Okay, so I was right. So, I won't be drinking this anymore. I'm surprised I didn't have a dumping syndrome from drinking this because it has so much sugar. That's probably like stage 6 and beyond. So we won't be doing that anymore. And then The other thing is that, remember, I said I'm supposed to get 64 ounces of water. So I got this water jug, and it's 64 ounces. I measured it for sure, or I measured it to make sure. I also weighed it to make sure it's not too heavy. And the only reason why I mentioned that is today I was talking with my surgeon's office again, and I was getting this pain right underneath my left breast, and it was happening. It started on Monday, and it's, kind of happened every day since then. And I thought it was gas pain because, the gas pains I've been told are terrible. And so every time it came, I thought it was gas pain, and I tried to walk it out, and that was torture. And one of the things she asked me when we were on the phone is, could you have strained yourself? And I was like, no, gosh, no, I haven't done anything I'm not supposed to do. And no sooner did we get off the phone that I tried to bring something in the house. And I wasn't picking it up, but I was using, my feet to push it inside the house because it was significantly heavy. And, I sat down for a minute, and boom, that pain came on. And so I think what I have done is strained myself, because, if you think about that area of your body, that's where that work was done, right? They did a hernia repair. I don't know if I talked about that previously, and then the gastric bypass. So there's been a lot of work down there. So, I'm kind of telling you the things that I've done right, but I'm also telling you the things I've done wrong, and the pain I've suffered because of that. I will tell you, the first time I had that pain, I almost had my daughter drive me to the emergency room. I was in horrible pain. I could not stop crying. I was doubled over. I needed her to help me walk. I was miserable. And it took a long time for that to go away. And so, if that is because I've strained myself, which I will tell you, I was a single mom, and so I can do anything, has been my philosophy. And so I probably overdid it. And so, good lesson for me to remember my limitations right now, and to be okay with not doing anything, or doing just a little bit, and, not feeling like I've got to do it all. I say all of this to say that I do not regret 1 minute for having this surgery. I don't hurt even an eighth of what I thought I was going to, even, with these pains that I get occasionally underneath my breast. And I've been fortunate. Nothing has made me nauseous or sick. I've not had to take any of the nausea medication that they sent me home with. I will say that one of the things I struggle with is not taking too large of a sip of water, shake, broth, whatever, because I'm used to being able to, chug a glass of water or what have you. And so a couple of times I've taken a big gulp of water, and then I have to spit it out because I don't want that pain, and I don't want to throw up. I'm not a big fan of throwing up. And so that is going to take me a while. So if there's a way for you to practice that before you have surgery, that might help. And walk, get out there and walk. It's going to help with those gas pains. I brought a heating pad with me to the hospital, and that really, really helped. So I do use that quite often, and that's been quite helpful. I think one of the videos I might do is just a real quick, here's what I brought to the hospital versus here's what I actually used from that stuff. So if you're interested in seeing that, post a comment, and I'd be happy to do a video on that. So if you're afraid, if you're worried about it, yes, people have complications. And by no means can I say that you're not going to have complications. But I went into this with my eyes wide open. I did my research. I had a plan. I wrote my plan out. I knew exactly what I was going to have and when I was going to have it. I'm not really a control freak, but because surgery is completely out of my control and I don't do well with that, I putting a little bit of structure into it, or a lot of structure into it, is what really helped me be prepared for this. One thing, and I might have said this on a previous video, one thing I see a lot of people do is, they don't ask any questions, they don't get any directions, they don't get any guides. And then, they're 3 days post-op from their surgery and they have no idea what to do. And so either A, they've got a terrible doctor, B, the doctor gave them the information and they didn't understand it or don't remember it, or I don't know. I don't know what the other options are. But, I'm very fortunate in that my surgeon center gave me a lot of information, and I did a lot of research, and I watched a lot of videos, and I asked a lot of questions. And I asked a lot of questions. Something would pop into my head and I would immediately go send an email through my the portal for my surgeon's office. And every time I did that, for a moment I would think, oh man, I'm bothering them again. And I was like, wait a minute, this is major life surgery. Like, this is a major surgery that I'm going through, and it's an expensive surgery. If I have to ask them 3 million questions, I will ask them 3 million questions. So that's my experience so far. I hope you are enjoying this. If you let me know, send me a comment, let me know where you are in your journey. Feel free to ask me questions. I look forward to posting another video. And if you have ideas on videos that you'd like, feel free to leave that in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks.